How many have you forgiven today? Chapter 22, Harsh Truths, Part 3. Anon starts to notice the light in Blossom's home dim considerably. They've been here for hours. If Anon had a hazard a guess, he'd say that it's around 5 in the afternoon. Time sure does like to fly when you're having an emotional moment with someone. However, he doesn't feel like much has been accomplished with this chat of theirs. Sure, he's gained a lot of respect for Blossom, sharing such a personal story. But still, this all seems pointless to him because the weight on his shoulders still feels just as heavy as it did this morning. While he will admit that it's nice knowing he has a pony he can talk to freely, this does little to solve the problems he has. Not that he expected their conversation to solve anything. He knows he'll have to cross that bridge eventually.
You're a complicated creature, Anon.
Blossom admits. Complicated. A word Anon doesn't like. Blossom in many ways is right to think of him as such. It's hard for Anon to really put into words how he feels about things. Many think he's a mystery wrapped in a riddle. But that isn't who he is. He's just doing what he thinks is right, even if it is something he'll regret later. To be honest, I believe I'm far less complicated than others think. They just draw complicated conclusions about who I am. Blossom chuckles at that.
Maybe you're right.
Blossom gets up from her seat and moves over to Anon. Without saying a word, she wraps him in a strong embrace. What's this about? He asks, feeling weird.
Nothing's as simple as a hug. I think that's what you need right now.
Anon is hesitant to admit to that, but it appears that Blossom is a fast learner. Anon wraps his arms around her and returns the embrace. For so long, having anyone so close to him would have repulsed him. Nowadays, it's comforting. Well, if it's a pony he trusts. I'm not admitting that you're right, Anon mentions.
No need. I know I'm right.
They break from their embrace. The two of them felt considerably better about the chat that they've had. It was equally emotional for them both, and now there's a sense of trust between them. Blossom has a strong feeling that Anon and her have taken a huge step in their friendship. One that was not carved by time, but by swift action. Years' worth of bonding summed up into a few hours. She knows she has nothing to worry about when it comes to how Anon views her now. She has his trust, and he has hers. As much as I loved this conversation, I'd like to leave this house of emotions if you don't mind. Blossom nods.
Agreed. You do have a spare few hours until your party. Got any plans?
Oh yeah, the party. Anon almost forgot about that. The worst part is that he has no idea if Bonbon intends to show up. It seems that there's no rest for his consciousness today. The party? No, I don't have any plans. Blossom can see Anon starting to worry over what's going to happen. But Blossom isn't going to let that happen. With a grin, she bites Anon's collar and drags him off of her couch in a shocking display of her strength.
Let's go shopping,
she says past his shirt as she drags him out of her home. Blossom, I can walk! Anon says, keeping his collar from strangling him to death as Blossom stops and lets him go.
Good, because I didn't want to drag you through the shopping district. I know the perfect place for you,
she says with an odd bat-like squeal. Anon gets off of the ground and dusts himself off. As he looks over at Blossom, he notices an odd look that she's giving him. It seems to be universal no matter the place. Females love shopping. He would have guessed that Blossom would be the last pony that would enjoy shopping, but it appears that she's just like every other girl to the core. Any reason as to why we should go shopping? He asks.
I haven't been shopping in ages, and I need a stallion's opinion on a few things.
But how would I know what a stallion would think?
You have a penis, right?
She asks, with a smirk and a brow raised. Anon lets out a slow sigh as he covers his face. Yes, I do.
Good enough for me.
Blossom latches onto his pant leg this time, as she starts to drag him towards the shopping district. While this entire situation is beyond weird for Anon, he can't help but feel safe with Blossom. Considering what they've went through and shared, It makes a bit of sense.
Sister!
Celestia lets out a large pant.
Are you sure this is customary?
Luna is holding the lace in her teeth with all of her strength, as she continues to pull the dress tighter on her sister.
Pain before beauty, Tia. But I can barely breathe!
Luna opens her eyes to see the purple face of her sister as the dress constricts her. Luna instantly lets go of the lace and all of her hard work slips away as everything loosens up. Celestia takes a moment to catch her breath.
Luna, I'll freely admit I have no idea what current fashion trends are among our subjects, but I believe that my figure cannot support a corset.
Luna raises a brow as she gives her sister a once-over.
Yes, your corpulence is indeed a hindering factor.
Celestia's face turns red in irritation, but soon falls to a smug grin.
Well, from Anon's own mouth, we know that his people enjoy a mare that's bottom-heavy. Oh, it's a shame you're stuck with only so much to offer.
Luna and Celestia both lock eyes for a moment before they start laughing.
Very clever, sister.
Luna admits.
Still, we must find a dress to envelope all that you offer. I think we should go with something to show off your sexy side. Anon can't see you as more than a friend if you keep wearing that regalia.
Celestia glances over to the dresser that holds her regalia. Her sister is right. At least for Anon, she may need to consider not wearing her regalia as often as she does.
Perhaps you are right, but don't you think this is too soon? We're not pursuing him just yet, Tia. This is just a small thing to stir the water a bit. I guess there's no harm in looking good. Well put.
Luna pulls out another dress.
Let's try this one next. Alright, but let me put it on this time. Everything will be fine.
Cadence says to herself in the mirror.
I just have to talk to him. I'm sure we can come to an understanding.
Cadence glances over to her dresser. Atop sits a photo. She uses her magic to levitate it over to her, and she looks at it. A small smile grows on her face as she looks at the filly she used to take care of. Twilight is looking forward at the camera nervously, as Cadence stands beside her with a large smile. This was their first photo together, and Twilight never got her picture taken before. She spent so much of her time learning magic that she didn't even know that ponies had made the technology to take photos. Cadence's smile fades as she recalls the last time she spoke with Twilight. The look of anguish in her eyes. She's never seen such suffering in her entire life, and yet no pony here cares to try and help her. Cadence has no idea what will happen during this party. However, this is for Twilight. She can't sit around and pretend as if things will get better given time, not with some pony like Twilight. She's always had a problem with accepting her mistakes since she was a filly. So, Cadence will be there for her when she's needed most. She looks over at the clock and notices that it's almost time for the party to start. She wanted to tell Shining about her plan, but she knew that he would have protested. She must go this alone and hope that everything will work out in the end. Cadence takes in one last long breath to calm her nerves.
Showtime.
This seems like the party is gonna go into disaster. Just a small feeling. Anywho, let's get on to our not disastrous donators. Top donators are 630, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and Iron Sky. Darkside, Raiden, Narwhals, Black Moon, Heart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Stu Hex, Sorter Brother, Marjorie, Omicron, Lyra, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Ride Soul, Baddest Waffle, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancellor Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat GGF, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.